Welcome into episode 203, everybody. I am your host, Sleazeball. Today's episode is going to be my top 10 free agency winners. Now, I know we're not done with free agency. There's still some dominoes to fall. Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Rodgers. You could say Nick Chubb if you want, a couple players like that. But I don't think no matter where they land, either way, it is going to break into my top 10 winners so far. So I'm going to give you a list here, but a couple of these list players are going to have team overall statistics as well too. Why I like that as free agency winners. Like example will be my first one will be Caleb Williams and the Bears offensive line, but the signings they got for offensive line helped him out. So stuff, so on and like that. Before we dive into it here, guys, make sure you smash that like and subscribe. All the support's appreciated. Click that like button. If you guys have any questions, fantasy football wise, it does not have to pertain to this video. I am here to help you with anything you guys want. Dynasty trades. It's early in the season. How you're going to look at the early draft pick for running back coming up here in about, we got like 38 days away from the draft here. So a lot of questions you guys could drop in there. I'll answer every single one of them. Let's dive into my top 10 free agency winners currently right now. Starting off with my number one free agency winner to me is going to be tight end Evan Engram from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So last season, hampered by injuries, only played 9 games on the season, so his numbers are obviously down, right? So he finished his tight end 33, 9.9 points per game. What people are missing here, though, this trade to the Denver Broncos, or free agency signing, of why it's so good for Evan Engram is because if you can name me the last tight end that was relevant for the Denver Broncos, drop it in the comments and let me know. Because I'm going to go with Shannon Sharp back in the Terrell Davis days. That's probably their last relevant tight end they've had. Bo Nix was supposed to have a security blanket last year. I thought Greg Dulcich would be that guy. He was not. Now they bring in the veteran Evan Engram. And you guys forget the 2024, 2023, 2022, 2023, this guy's a back-to-back tight end 5. Tight end 2 last year before this year. Tight end 5 before that. He is going to excel in Sean Payton's system. Is going to be the new Jimmy Graham look for Bo Nix. It's going to be nice. Now, last season, 365, 47 receptions, 64 targets, 1 TD, saw 8 rushing yards as well. I don't think he'll see any rushing yards anymore. He's heading into age 30 here. Total points in the season, 89.5. His production premium was negative, of course, because he's injured and wasn't out there a lot. Snap share was 71.9%. That's 14th. That number should go up here in this system, depending on how they're going to, look at Marvin Mims, look at Troy Franklin with Cortland Sutton, whatever they do. Maybe they bring in Vele up to number 2. We don't know yet. We don't know how it's going to look, but this guy should be a full 85+% George Kittle type tight end here this year. Routes ran 193. I expect that to be up in the 280s to 300s. Route participation 69.2%. That number should go up as well. Evan Engram is literally staring at a top 5 tight end season again to make it 3 out of 4. And I love picking him up right now, and he's my number 1 free agency winner as of right now. Free agency winner number 2, and this is more of an all-around as well to go along with Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams is going to benefit the most. The Chicago Bears, they bring in Ben Johnson as the head coach. What do? They go out and they address the first problem they had last year, which was a 30th ranked offensive line. They bring in Joe Thuney, they bring in Drew Dahlman, they bring in Jonah Jackson right away, spending the money, taking their offensive line to, honestly, without even playing a game yet, or looking at the NFL draft and who they're going to bring in, to a top 5 line. So Caleb Williams' numbers are going to explode even more, but we're going to look at what happened last year. So 2024 stats, he had 3,541 yards passing, 489 yards rushing, 4,000 total, 20 TDs, 6 picks. Gotta like that low interception number with a bad offensive line. It's a very good sign. Didn't find the rushing end zone. I expect the rushing TD to happen this season. QB rank was number 16, right outside the top 15, 15.3 points. 260.5 points in the season. Production premium still positive. It's one of my favorite stats there in fantasy football. Completion percentage, top 25. You'd like to see that go up. I expect that to be in the, I'll break all of them down in a minute here. Passer rating, 21st at 90.3. QBR at 46.5 at 27. All 3 of these completion percentage, pass rating, QBR, these are all very, very rushed behind an offensive line that was crumbling. So now you're going to have him with a massive big boy line in front. I expect the QBR, the passer rating, and the completion percentage to each in their own individual category be top 10 to top 15. Now, with the new additions to the offensive line, again, we have another stat to look at that is absolutely bonkers. His deep ball attempts were 81. That is with the less time, a bad offensive line. Give this guy more time. Let the reads happen. You got Rome Odunze coming into his second year. We don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be there, but DJ Moore is going to feast on deep balls. Romo Dunze is a go-getter as well. Cole Kmet could be in for a breakout season as well. I love all the Chicago Bears, and Ben Johnson is doing everything right. Free agency winner number 3 in this landing spot is absolutely gold for Najee Harris and the Los Angeles Chargers with Harbaugh. This is going to be your workhorse back. Now, I know when you look at his contract, people are going to say it's $9 million, but it's bonus incentive. He's going to hit every single one of the bonuses. It's absolutely crazy how many touches is going to be in the red zone. If you saw J.K. Dobbins resurrect his career last year, but then you saw Gus Edwards take the red zone touches, this is going to be the full Najee Harris show. Could they add someone in the draft? Sure. Do I think that rookie is going to overplay Najee Harris? Maybe you see a timeshare 65-30, 60-40, something like that. But it is one of the best values you can get, and I'm guaranteeing 10-plus touchdowns this year. You have Joe Alt, the monster from last year. They bring in Mekhi Becton right now as well to go to the offensive line. Absolutely wheels up for Najee Harris in the run game from the Chargers. Now, rushing yards last year still topped 1,000 yards. That's 4 straight seasons with 1,000 yards rushing. Never been injured either. It is a true built 3-down back workhorse that I can't wait to see this season for the Chargers. Rushing attempts 263, yards per carry was down 3.97. You like to see that get higher. The rushing TDs, guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be 10, 12 plus minimum this season. Receiving yards 283. He still is a good receiving back, guys. Finished as a top 20 back last season. 9.9 points per game, 168.6. Production premium was down because he was in a timeshare with Jaylen Warren. And you can look at it right here at the bottom. His snap share was only 50.2%, and he still put up 1,300 yards. Now you're going to be in a better situation. I know he's 27 years old, but it still doesn't bother me. Yards after contact on 50% snaps was still 588. That's top 10 in the NFL. Routes ran was 112. That's 41st. Again, timeshare makes it look different. But red zone touches, guys, was 55, which is top 11 or number 11 in the NFL. You're going to see that up to about 70, 80, depending on how the Chargers offenses move, which I think they're going to be lights out this season. And Najee Harris is a massive, massive winner and one of my favorite targets at ADP right now. Free agency winner number 4. If Najee Harris leaving, that means that Jaylen Warren is the winner for the Pittsburgh Steelers currently. So what the Steelers have done in the offseason as well here too, and they just signed Tyler Lockett right now as this video is going. So they go out and they trade for DK Metcalf. They have George Pickens. They get Tyler Lockett. These are 3 wide receivers that you're not going to be able to stack the box against. Now, could the Pittsburgh Steelers go get a running back in the draft? Of course they can. This running back class is loaded. That's why these early videos are good to look at trade-wise and good to make moves on. But also you got to temper your expectations because you don't know what's going to happen 38 days from now when we're at the NFL draft. Now, I will also be live for the NFL draft. I'm going to do my mock predictions as well during the draft as we go through it. It's going to be a fun show, fun time. Hope to see you guys in there. Now, looking back at Jaylen Warren, again, if you just heard the Najee Harris clip, you know that he was in a snap share with Najee Harris. And you know Arthur Smith does like his 2 running back system, which could be scary for Jaylen Warren's value heading into the actual fantasy football season. But we'll get to that after the draft and see how it all plays out. He ended up with 511 rushing yards, 120 attempts, 4.26 better yards per carry than Najee Harris right there because he has the breakaway speed and broke a couple long ones. Rushing TDs was 1 because Najee takes all the goal line work. Receiving yards was 310. Didn't find the end zone as a receiving touchdown. Still was a top 40 back, 8.3 points per game. He also was a little nicked up in the season as well, so it would have been better than that. Production premium still almost at 0, which is decent. You want it to be in the positive, but not bad for a snap share back. Yards after contact was 249. That's 41st. Routes ran was 124. That's 37. Snap share, again, 45%. Number 38. I expect that to go up depending on what happens here again. And red zone touches were 20. I'd expect that to go up, but again, they could bring in a big back in the draft here. But the number one question is right now is, how is Aaron Rodgers not going to be this quarterback? How is he going to turn down Pickens, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett? Like, what are we talking about here? This guy should be coming here, but we do need this quarterback situation figured out. They have Mason Rudolph. Can he, bridge the gap? I don't like that as a bridge quarterback to next year. Maybe they get Jackson Dart with their 20th or 21st pick. I forget which one they have. I would like that. But, man, all the weapons here. The running back situation is perfect for Jaylen Warren. If you can go get this man now, I would go get him now. Agency winner number 5 is going to be Brenton Strange, the Jacksonville Jaguars tight end. That is insane value currently right now, but I think that's all going to change here. Again, we have the draft to worry about here and how the rest of free agency plays out. But when you're looking at Brenton Strange, still 24 years old, last season had 6 games of 10 plus points, did very well in Evan Ingram's absence, even had a 23.8 game where he had 12 targets, 11 receptions, 73 yards. I mean, this guy is actually athletic, and people don't understand that he's going to be a 2 to 3 option here. BTJ obviously going to be the main focal point of this offense. You saw Liam Cohen come in and say that he's going to feed him everything to the offense. BTJ is to the roof, but we're going to get to him later in the video. Now, Brenton Strange, last year, 2024 stats, 411 yards, 40 receptions, 53 targets, 2 touchdowns, no rushing yards, obviously. But tight end 31, so still finished in the top 32 of all teams, so that's all your tight ends. 5.4 points per game, 91.1 points. Production premium plus 1.5 as a snap share split at 56.1%. That's what you want. That is very hard to do. That means when he's out there on the field, his production is better than what the premium says on him. And that is why I really, really like Brenton Strange here heading into the season. Target share 10.2%. I expect that to go up. Routes ran 213. You expect that to go up. Route participation 37%. You expect that to go up as well. And what you see is they just start trimming the fat right away. You see Christian Kirk gone. You see Evan Ingram gone. They're building a young dynasty here team, kind of like I would if I was a head coach in Jacksonville, to keep their team all 26 and under young. And moving forward with Trevor Lawrence, with a massive contract played out for him as well. Everyone's kind of down on Trevor Lawrence. I think he has a bounce back year this year. And I know the weapons are different, but I just have a feeling that Liam Cohen brings in a different offensive look here. And Brenton Strange is one of my favorite targets to go snag right now if you can. Free agency winner number 6, and this is going to be even more massive than last year. But we're going to look at last year's stats first on Joe Burrow, and then I'm going to break down the signings and what has happened here. So last year, he almost threw for 5,000 yards. He's QB3 overall, 201 rushing yards, 43 TDs, 9 picks, 2 rushing TDs, 22.5 points per game, 381 fantasy points, production premium plus 4. Top 5 there as well. Completion percentage 77.2%. That's number 2. Passer rating 113.6. That's number 3. QBR 76.7. That's number 1. Deep ball attempts 52, which is in the 14th range there. But you got to remember, T. Higgins wasn't out there the whole time they were out there. Now, what do? They go out there. They give Ja'Marr Chase a $161 million contract, highest non-paid QB of all time contract done. $112 million guaranteed. This man said, pull up the truck. I'm taking it with me. Jesus. And then Higgins goes for 4 years, $115 million after a franchise tag, which that's kind of interesting to me how that all played out for them. But now with all the money spent, you still have Chase Brown on his rookie contract, so he'll be solid there for 1-2 years here, depending on what they do in the draft again. Could they bring in a bully ball guy? Yeah. Khalil Herbert's now in Indianapolis, so he's not going to be the backup running back there. Could it be, still Zach Moss? They brought him for a $10 million 2-year contract last year. Of course, he could come in and play that, goal line back roll type thing there, although I think Chase Brown's going to see most of the work. But what does this mean? This means that their whole cap, like salary cap, I think it's like 60 to 70% is now between Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins in this offense, which means their defense is going to be young. They're going to be drafting all defensive players, and their defense is probably going to get torched, which means their offense is going to have to light it up to keep up with the defensive problems. And Joe Burrow is possibly looking at your QB1 for 2025, and he's probably going to be my QB1. Agency winner number 7, and this is going to be a double down together, but we're going to talk about Matthew Stafford here, and it's also going to be Davante Adams. So this is a double whammy here for both of them. So Cooper Kupp, obviously out of town, headed to Seattle on a 3-year, $45 million deal. Sad to see Matthew Stafford's boy go, but you didn't just let him go. You got a massive upgrade with Davante Adams. I don't care what anyone says. Davante Adams, in my opinion, I've watched enough football to make yourself sick. He's probably my favorite route runner of all time. Probably number 1 to me, in my opinion. And now with Puka Nacua and him, this is just going to be electric, guys. I'm telling you, if Matt Stafford stays healthy at age 37, you're looking at a bounce back from QB 19 to probably QB 5 to 7 next season. Now, again, Matthew Stafford's, 37 years old, turning 38 this year. 3,762 passing yards. That is going way up. Rushing yards 41. You're not going to see him rush much at his old age. Passing TDs at 20. That is going to be 30 plus range. Interceptions 8. He's always, great with interceptions. I expect that to be lower, honestly. So he only averaged 13.9 points per game last season, 226 points. Production premium still positive out there. It was one of those weird years for the Ram where Kai Wren did more of the work in the red zone, and they didn't get a lot of passing TDs. 20 is very low for Matt Stafford. 69.5 completion percentage. Again, that's 23rd. I'm going to look at all three of these. Passer rated 90.4. That's 20th. QBR 64.2. Because look, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot and he doesn't make mistakes. But it was one of the, again, like an aberration, weird year for the passing game for the Rams. I expect the completion percentage, the passer rating, all to be top 7 to 10 range. And the deep balls at 50, number 15, I expect that to be up as well. I know they've lost a couple linemen. They're probably going to address that in the draft here, knowing Sean McVay. And man, you give Devontae Adams, Sean McVay. I mean, you're probably looking at Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams if they stay healthy, both as top 10 wide receivers this season. And Matthew Stafford and the Rams as a whole with Devontae Adams are massive, massive free agent winners. Free agency winner number 8, and it's kind of crazy to say that I'm going to say Sam Darnold is a winner here, but it's going to be a double down again here. It's going to be Cooper Kupp as well being added to the Seahawks. But we're going to break down why I'm against Cooper Kupp this year than I was last year at the end of this video. So we're going to look at here. Sam Darnold, 4,319 yards last season, 212 rushing, 35 passing to these 12 interceptions, 1 rushing to his best year of his career. Top 10 QB ranked in at QB 9, 18.8 points per game, 320 total points. But look at his production premium is negative, which shows you how good the Vikings and the assets were around him. It may be a different look in Seattle. But again, I'll talk about that in a second here. Completion percentage, 71.8%, number 13, amazing there. Passer rating, top 10, amazing there. QBR, 61.8, number 13, good there as well. Deep ball attempt, 61, number 9. All very, very good. Now, what we're going to break down here is you have Jackson Smith-Njigba, who explodes last season, breaks onto the scene, and Mike Macdonald, the new head coach. You know, they fired the offensive coordinator. I don't know why they, did that, but we're going to see how it plays out here. But you bring in Cooper Kupp. Both these guys thrive in the slot, which is a little worrisome to me. But most people think that Seattle Seahawks are just throwing in the towel and rebuilding here. What they've done is actually genius behind the scenes that people are noticing. You got rid of DK Metcalf for Cooper Kupp. You got a second-round pick on top of that. You got DK Metcalf's crazy contract, $150 million sent to the Steelers. Then, what else do? They get rid of Geno Smith, pick up an extra third-round pick, and go get Sam Darnold, which is an upgrade over Geno Smith. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not a big Geno fan. I don't know why the Raiders did that. It's really mind-blowing to me. You still have Kenneth Walker. Tyler Lockett lost in free agency as well. I expect them to bring in maybe a wide receiver third, fourth round here late in the draft. Maybe if they want to go early second. I think they have a lot more holes to fill. But still, the main thing they have to focus on is that offensive line. Sam Darnold is going to be under massive duress this season unless they address it with tons and tons of draft picks or make some moves for some big top players here. I think it's going to be a different look, Sam Darnold. I don't expect him to finish in the top 10 QBs like he did last year with the Vikings. I mean, Jettas, Addison, Aaron Jones, all of them were massive, massive helps to him. You could say Jay Season, Cooper Kupp, K9, Charbonnet. I don't see that being the same. I think Justin Jefferson's an elite talent on a different level that opened up a lot more for him. But still, it's a winner to me, and the Seahawks overall is a winner because they're still going to be the same kind of contender, but with a little more capital to build for the future. So I really, really like the move of Sam Darnold. I think the contract's a little bonkers, $100 million for 3 years, but I did see that there is an out in 2026 and 2027 with that contract, so they can only kind of dead cap like $25 million. I wish I had the tweet to pull it up for you guys. I saw it, over the weekend, but I'm still going to say that he's a good winner here this season. To see winner number 9, and I just cannot get enough of Justin Fields, man. I know you could say whatever you want, pass or wise with him, but before we break into the stats, he only played 6 games last year and was 4-2 with the Steelers. But if you look back at his last 3 fantasy football seasons, to quote my guy Derek Brown, Fantasy Pros, make sure you check out his Twitter. This guy has been QB9, QB8, and QB5 in points per game over his past 3 seasons as a starter. Now, you're going to get Breece Hall, probably going to help him. You're going to get Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State connection back, which they were in college, which is going to thrive because who else do they have? Malachi Corley, Alan Lazard. He's going to open it up with his legs, which Aaron Rodgers could not do last year because he's 41 years old, coming off an Achilles. Justin Fields is a dual threat monster. Now, this is a 6-game sample size last year, guys. So 1,100 passing yards, almost 300 rushing yards. That's 1,400 yards right there in 6 games. So you're looking at a great average there. Passing TDs, 5 interceptions, 1. Love the 5-to-1 ratio. If you add the rushing touchdown, that's 10-to-1 ratio. QB 32, again, only played 6 games, but points per game was 20.1. This is what I'm saying this guy does. This is why I love this landing spot. I know the contract, 2-year, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. Could be kind of a bridge play for them, however you look at it, but still, he's going to keep this team competitive. Passer rating was 90.1, completion percentage 71.6, QBR 50.8. But deep balls, guys, this was in 6 games. So if you want to look back at the beginning of the video, Caleb Williams had 81 deep balls. He was number 1. Okay, so take that. Let's times it by 3 here, right? So if you go 22, let's bump that to 66. That would put him in the top 5 to 8 deep balls. Garrett Wilson is going to feast. Malachi Corley, field stretcher, great yak guy across the middle as well. Lazard, I don't put as a deep guy. They let Mike Williams go. But I'm enamored with Justin Fields and what the Jets are going to do here in the draft. And I love, love, love this landing spot for him. He's finally going to get a 1 to 2 year shot to show what he's made of, because I thought he was better than Russell Wilson last year. I really, really did. Could have been, my bias. I've always been a Fields fan. Could I be that I love his rushing upside that Russell Wilson just gave you? All that could be there, yeah. But now you're going to get him in command of the offense, and it's going to be awesome to watch. And he is going to be one of the best values in fantasy football at the quarterback position. Free agency winner number 10, save the best for last. If you could even put this as a free agency winner, because there's so many ways you could go against this or comments or argue it back. Yeah, he was wide receiver 4 on the season, but yet he's still a winner to me. And that was his rookie year, which is bonkers, guys. Brian Thomas Jr. was always him. If you Big Draft Energy, the co-host of my show, check out his YouTube, check out his Twitter, called last year that he'd be a top 10 wide receiver as a rookie. And man, he hit it, but he was also off. He was top 5. If he just said top 5, it'd been one of the craziest calls of all time. But, 284 points, a massive 16.7 points per game as a rookie. And this happened, with the Christian Kirk injury. Evan Ingram missed a couple games here. So you saw the breakout. Gabe Davis was never nothing. Parker Washington, maybe he has a little breakout here. He's still 22 years old. He's one of my deep sleeper plays in best ball, stuff like that. But now you have Liam Cohen coming in, like I said previously. Head coach, offensive coordinator of Tampa Bay, coming over here, head coaching job, says the offense is going to feed through Brian Thomas Jr. So what you're looking at here, and I'm going to call this out right now before we dive into the stats. Brian Thomas Jr., if he plays a healthy full season here, is going to have 15 touchdowns and 1,500 plus yards, and that may be the floor. That's not the ceiling. That may be legitimately the floor. He should be drafted in the first round of every draft. Now, 1,282 yards last season, 87 receptions, 133 targets, 10 TDs. Like to see that. 48 rushing yards as well. He'll see a couple carries here, and they got to like that addition as a wide receiver in fantasy football. Again, wide receiver 4, 16.7, 284 points, production premium 11.2, top 10 overall as a rookie. That is bonkers. Now, the missing key factor here is you can look up any other wide receiver 1 that you want. These numbers that BTJ just put up are at about, a wide receiver 1B production level. So he's only getting 80% snap shares. He's not in the 90%, 95% like Garrett Wilson, top guys with a big season, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. He's going to see that this year. Target share 25.5%. That's going to go up to about the 30s. Routes ran 502. That's going to be higher as well. Route participation should be in the 95 to 97% range as a true alpha wide receiver, which is what you're going to get this year with Brian Thomas Jr. And everyone's down on T-Law. I'm not down on T-Law. I think the contract is okay. It's going to work out better for him. They're going to have a breakout year this year. And just bringing Liam Cohen by himself is just a huge, huge upgrade for this entire Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And Brian Thomas Jr., man, the sky is the limit for this guy this year. Hey. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is my top 10 free agency winners plus team winners. I guess you could throw that in there as well. Before we head out, guys, make sure you smash that like and subscribe. All the support's appreciated, man. And again, if you guys have any fantasy football questions, does not have to pertain to this video, drop them in the comments. I'm here to help you guys answer every single one of them. We are almost at 5,000 subscribers. Last year, we started at 0. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which I'm going to dive into my rookie rankings here this week. They could start tomorrow, guys. Sleazebomb out. Hope to see you in the next one.